Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a piece of tech that TechRadar is literally calling the absolute new standard in budget-friendly drones. We're talking about the DJI Lito X1 and its little sibling, the Lito 1. Let's jump right in and find out exactly how these tiny drones solve the biggest, most common anxieties new pilots face when they're first getting into aerial videography.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at what makes the ultimate beginner drone. Check out the flight and safety features, and push those camera limits. After that, we'll do a head-to-head showdown of the X1 versus the Lito 1, and finally, wrap things up with our final verdict.
Section 1. The Ultimate Beginner Drone.
So, you might be wondering, what actually makes the perfect beginner drone? Well, based on the comprehensive testing we're analyzing today, it really comes down to a magic trio of criteria. You need true affordability, absolute ease of use, and the ability to capture high-end cinematic results without having to endure a brutally steep learning curve.
And listen to this, TechRadar didn't hold back at all. They called the Lito X1, and I quote, a huge step up over the Mini 4K and my favorite new beginner drone. Now, considering the older Mini 4K was already a highly regarded 5-star model, that is a massive claim to make. So how exactly does the Lito X1 earn that kind of praise? Well, it all starts with one absolutely crucial metric, and that's the 250-gram threshold. Get this, the folding body of the Lito series weighs exactly 249 grams. And that specific number, it's not just some random engineering flex, it is pure regulatory magic. Because it slides gracefully under that 250-gram mark, the drone earns a C0 class designation in Europe and a UK 0 class in the United Kingdom. So what does this actually mean for you? It means you can fly it almost anywhere. You can even fly it over uninvolved people. Basically, for a novice pilot, you completely bypass the massive headache of red tape that usually grounds larger, heavier drones. It's a total game changer.
Moving right along to Section 2, Flight and Safety Features.
Now, addressing the biggest fear for beginners, crashing an expensive piece of tech. The Lito X1 introduces forward-facing LiDAR. Older models only had downward sensors, which basically left them totally blind to hazards like lampposts or tree branches right in their flight path. So the crucial point is, LiDAR maps complex environments to actively dodge collisions. It works brilliantly, even in tricky, low-light situations where standard visual sensors completely fail. It literally takes a huge amount of risk right out of the equation.
On top of that, these software features essentially act like an invisible co-pilot. You've got Spotlight, which keeps the camera perfectly locked on a subject while you fly. Then there's Active Track, autonomously following moving vehicles and people while deftly navigating around obstacles. You can even set automated flight paths with waypoint flying. And once you're back on the ground, Quick Transfer uses Wi-Fi 6 to instantly offload those massive video files. It is just an incredible, comprehensive safety net.
Section 3, Pushing the Camera Limits.
For a drone at this price point, the Lito X1 packs a surprisingly capable 1/1.3-inch CMOS sensor. It captures rich, 10-bit 4K video at a buttery-smooth 60 frames per second. Throw in the D-Log-M color profile and 14 stops of dynamic range, and you've got professional-grade flexibility right in your pocket. It holds on to detail in both bright skies and dark shadows, giving videographers plenty of latitude to color-grade the footage exactly how they want it in post-production.
Yes, but we do have to look at the full picture here. TechRadar clearly highlighted a few hardware limitations you should absolutely be aware of. The digital zoom gets noticeably soft at its tightest settings, so it's not ideal for crisp, faraway shots. Also, unlike some other models, the camera cannot natively rotate for true 9:16 vertical video. And out of the box, the X1 has a default tendency to overexpose footage, meaning you'll likely need to tweak those exposure values manually to get the best shot.
Which brings us to Section 4, Lito X1 versus Lito 1.
And this brilliantly illustrates the differences. Looking at the breakdown, the dividing lines are super clear. The Lito X1 steps up with that larger 1/1.3-inch sensor and 10-bit video, whereas the Lito 1 uses a smaller 1/2-inch sensor restricted to 8-bit video. A massive differentiator here is storage. The X1 packs a generous 42 gigabytes of internal storage right out of the box, while the Lito 1 relies entirely on you bringing your own micro SD card. Given the price difference, £369 versus £299, the premium features on the X1 easily justify that modest jump in price.
Finally, Section 5, the final verdict.
So who is this actually for? While the Lito X1 is built for buyers who want top-tier entry-level specs and long battery life without completely breaking the bank.
If you're on a strict budget, you might look at the DJI Neo 2, though you will definitely sacrifice significant battery life. Conversely, if you demand a massive 1-inch sensor for the sharpest zoomed-in shots, you'll need to step up to the Mini 5 Pro. Also, just a quick caveat to pass along impartially, if you are watching from the US, the Lito series is not officially available at standard retailers right now, meaning you'd have to rely on gray market channels to get your hands on one.
But for everyone else, the Lito X1 seals the deal with a genuinely impressive stat: 36 minutes of maximum flight time on a single battery charge. It comfortably beats out other entry-level models. And you know, this really matters, because it directly solves that awful beginner's anxiety of finally getting into a groove in the sky, only to have a dying battery cut a spectacular flight totally short.
Which brings us to our final thought. With pro-level safety from LiDAR, stunning 10-bit 4K video, and a pocket-sized design that bypasses major regulatory headaches, are you ready to take to the skies? The DJI Lito X1 clearly sets a phenomenal new benchmark. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.